in our guest lecture session, which is organized by Riseba University, and we are also part of the project We Hub. And we are very, very happy to share our experience, or not experience, or success story. We are very proud. Today, we have invited speaker, Karlis, who is doing something very interesting. Because usually when we talk about the e-commerce or IT companies, it's something we are hearing in these days, like all the time. So that's why we decided to invite someone who does something very niche and very unique, and something which is most probably something very forgotten and done like very, very good or big time ago. So I want to introduce Karlis. He will tell more about himself. He will tell more about the business and what he is doing. Please, Karlis, you can take the stage. You can share the screen and show the presentation. Just one maybe small moment, what we have also agreed with Karlis, that he shares not only his success story and what he is doing, but I think the success, what he has done, is also how he is managing the social media and how he is attracting clients even without the web page. As I know, web page has been built, but still not really functioning as it's supposed to be. So he will show his story from two sides, also from the way how he is managing it through the social media. So Karli, please, the floor is yours, and I hope you can share the screen, and for everyone, enjoy.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. Hello, everyone. So yes, my name is Karlis. And in a second, I'll share my screen so you see something. It's a pleasure to be here and to be able to talk to you. Let me... Yep, I'll do it like this. So yeah, it should be like that. So yes, so from my side, what I'm doing is, what I'm going to talk about today is that, well, in early 2018, before that, I was working in TV production company, basically traveling around the world and filming live events. And at that time, I wanted to do something with my hands, as I was most of the time being computer-wise and more that way. And so I started to search for what is something interesting that I could do. And before that, I had no experience whatsoever with clothing, fashion, or industry. And so I started to search, and I stumbled upon that. Okay, so this is very interesting for me. Hat making. So these fedora wide brim hats. I think in Russian it's shляпа, but I think there's multiple. So what we are doing, so to put it in some framework, it's felt hat that's with a wide brim, as you see here in this picture. So we started doing that with basically me. I started at that moment. It was very, very, very new kind of thing to, well, not new globally, but in the recent years. Before that, it saw big decline. And at that time, across the world, some new people started to make hats, like not historical companies, factories, but these individual hat makers. And I can tell you now that the community now is pretty large across the world, but at that time it was quite smaller. So I needed to basically learn from wherever I could. I didn't have the possibility to have like a teacher or someone who has already done that. So a little bit trailblazing. So basically me and my wife, we started from kitchen table, just experimenting and creating it. making hats, firstly to friends, families, and fools, as the saying goes, and then slowly, I wouldn't say so. Success is well, depends. It's always in progress. So we're not. It's my very passionate hobby, and it's becoming quite like rewarding in a sense. But it's still like a long process to go. So it's more like the side thing, but it's very rewarding in what's happening. So from our side, yes. So it's created in 2018. Basically, the beginnings. It's very niche product because it's this it mixed the fashion with the craftsmanship and a little bit from art side, because how it's made, it's every hat is basically made individually, and we originally make it that a person comes to consultation, we talk with him, and we make the hat specifically not just for the size, but also for the style, size, for color, for way how you want it to. If you want to brim bigger, smaller, if you want what you want to put on the crown, but you want some accessories. So it's a little bit. So each hat is also kind of individual. Well, let's say art piece to that extent. So how people perceive it. So because that's actually very um, important thing to learn, that like there is still products that can be practical and they can also be kind of art pieces. And people actually, because if you value hat as a something on your head, there is way more cheaper opportunities. There is way cheaper ways how to produce it and everything. But how we are doing it, it becomes very personal kind of gift, kind of like art, and that's what people like to pay money for. So that's something someone has created specifically for you. That has been working good for us, and also at the same time, it's kind of a little bit more prestige because you have arranged that someone makes the hat for you, and you can afford to make the hat for you. So that's kind of these two what I have learned, and maybe as I understand that like from the learning process, that like how you position your product, that this is interesting way how to look at it also, because I wouldn't say it's a luxury product, because yeah, luxury, there's brand like Gucci, let's say, brand involvement and history. This is kind of this new way that like it's rare because you can produce not huge quantity, and therefore it kind of grows in the value. So yeah, so some like so from our side, this is so we have made like 250, approximately 300 individual hats, and as you see that people are very eager to actually share it. That's very good for us, that people are like they want to be part of this kind of community, that oh, I'm also having the hat and everything. So yeah, so across the time, we also share a lot of how we make them, how we think about them, how multiple times it's me and my wife as models also. Good feedback from clients, especially ones who are kind of returning ones who have bought one hat and then 2 or 3 hats more. You can check the webpage, but as I said, it's I haven't made it in progress. So to put it back, the way how we're selling currently now is basically up till this point is basically through social media, direct communication, and uh, and for us it has worked quite well so far. That we put it, and people just write, "Hey, I like the hats. How can I buy it?" And then because also the communication is not single click and buy. It's you need to talk with them and what you like, what you don't like, what we can give you, and there's actually a process how we determine that. So but obviously at this point we're trying to do the next step, to try to do it more streamlined, that it's like we have actually hats that would that we have the models, and then you just choose the size and you click buy, and then it's done. So it highly improves everything. So maybe before I jump forward. Yeah, it's hard because I don't see any faces, and I don't know if how much are you interested, or if I should continue in one direction or not. But that's digital calls. So I guess if someone at some point has some questions, maybe through Zana can moderate if someone wants to ask some questions. So what I wanted to also, so maybe how I think about how the whole thing, because we started in this, like, let's say 2018, 2017, and at that moment, this is I did this small test, data research last year. Actually, now it's already 2 years old. So basically, what I can say about this the industry. So that's interesting how to look at some industry where maybe you want to be in this case. So hats, obviously, they're all thing there's companies who have been around from like 1600, and they are still operating, they're still selling the hats, and they have the brand. And then there was this like quite a huge gap in between. So from 1940 to 2009, only I could, like, it's not all, but all relevant ones who have some kind of like social presence. Obviously, there's some local shops and everything, but like companies who have social presence digitally and who actually sell digitally, and has like meaningful, so only four. And then from 2010 to 2014, 10, and then starting from 2015, 2022, already 23. And I would say that 2023 is actually, we could something like going even higher. So for me, starting thing is that it was very niche, and so the innovation curve was very in beginning. So we don't even, it's not about talking about quality of hat or anything, but just like about how to propose the product that like to a lot of people who have never worn a hat, and then like, hey, you need a hat. And but now it's actually becoming more and more and more popular across everywhere, and now it's people are finally catching up that the main talking point is the quality of hat, not just like to have a hat or something. And that's and that's interesting journey for me, because when I start, there's very limited resource, very limited research what I could find on how to do it. Just few people globally who are like kind of, and then I can talk with them and they're like, oh, you're also doing this, very cool, I'm doing the same thing. Now I see there's a lot of them, and because it's also everything has grown, the demand has grown, the supplies of tools have grown, and actually the knowledge of how to do it also has grown drastically. And basically there's already online courses how to do it. So now it's people like how to jump into this industry. It's becoming very easier. Therefore, it's more competition. And the other thing is that from the beginning, what I was thinking about, the price is that also the categories, they kind of go in well, I put them in three, like Luxus, exclusive, designer. So there's something, so then the hat is in very high cost, because there is some kind of huge brand building there, or some unicality, or the person making it is very famous, or it's just House of Gucci or something, for example. And then there's this middle area at that moment where it's craftsmanship and author, and what I saw, that like it's very much, all of these companies are very much the fact that it's a personal kind of mix of craftsmanship and art and artist, like that it's a person. It's like the whole storytelling is about a person. And here in Vidius, these are basically something more like e-commerce. It's a company, we sell hats, we kind of have some supplier of the hats, and we just sell a lot of hats, like any t-shirt, anything. This is also probably good, but that's completely different kind of how we like to proceed, because we cannot actually fight with them, because they will make the hats way cheaper, and to make a lot more people. We at that moment we're here, so we are kind of hoping to, we are moving in this direction to get into this craftsmanship auto. So And so at that moment was also so obviously yeah, coming from Latvia. And as I saw from names, I believe that we're also talking that it's more like Eastern Europe kind of region. So so in Latvia, the thing was that with this type of the product kind of you have the limitations. If you have a product that is maybe higher price, it's and you don't have that many people, so obviously the potential target market is quite narrow, and that's also for us. So then it's the reason that you need to go outside currently, but actually we haven't gone outside. We're currently actually kind of still making actually this other way that we becoming quite stronger in Latvia. That we will have that it's slowly the recognition is from all around, and so in Latvia we have strongly, and then from that we move outside. Maybe it's a better way to start already outside. We didn't have that option. Maybe I would guess that it's higher investments initially. Here we can have to build in your home country. It's easier with just time and meeting people and those kind of ways. And once that is big enough to jump. So yeah, so that was also from there, but maybe I'll focus on other things that yeah, how people perceive the hats. But actually, so about this, maybe this I could suggest that we also did this a lot, interviewing our followers in the sense that you ask, what do you think? What do you like? How do you feel this? And then we also saw that like, okay, so still we have a lot at the time. People wanted that hat costs below $200, basically 70% of people what we knew. But the thing is that we want to go that makes the product more valuable. And so how to put it all together, some sense of it. So yeah, we're doing it, and then notice that okay, so in this region, like it's not good region to be fighting against cheap brands. So what we wanted to do is that we make it the point is to make feeling of the brand that it's more valuable, that it's more artistic, that it's more craftsmanship, and that's what we have done in all of our basically communication videos we're making. So I will talk about maybe the like individual tools about that, and like kind of also do the rebranding to make it that the when you come that you see it that it's visually more appealing. Yeah, because from there, so some techniques how we are doing that without like huge investments, but cooperation with other companies to make high quality visuals, because hats are very great to have partnerships with, and a lot of clothing companies, models, sometimes musicians, they like to cooperate. Like, can you give me the hat for this event? And obviously we have high quality visuals from there, which also increase the brand perceived value. This is actually just now, actually today, I put it now. This is one very like one very huge magazine in Latvia, and here we have our hat on the front cover, which is very cool. But then again, so we had friends with costume designers who are making this. So you need the photo shoot, and she asked us for the hat, and also it's very interesting. So if someone like in any way wants to go in similar like way to do it, also be friends with photographs, because they're making a lot of content, and then it's like, okay, we can also include your item in there. Another thing how to promote that the feeling that it's okay, so this is craftsmanship, this is high quality. They do a lot of Instagram lives that where I'm doing it actually. So this is very important because yeah, you have the end product and you can kind of say that, oh yeah, so someone has made it. But if you show that how you're making it to a certain extent, firstly you prove the skill, you have direct communication. And so yeah, I usually make it that it's like Instagram live, and then I'm making some hat, and people can talk and chat, and you can have instant relationship. So what I'm also doing is that creating image of hardworking. So about how you're presenting yourself in a way. So I'm still doing showing a lot of behind stage and behind stage, and
Quanta конференцию скинули мне?
sorry, I guess maybe that was not meant. That you, because on how you perceive that, like you're not being visible because people see you only what you post, and then kind of fill in the gaps between. So I actually still at this moment I'm working full time in other company, and then in the evenings between houseworks and everything. So 2 times per week I go to the workshop and work there. And so you always put the pictures of you working, and then someone has that image in their head that like, oh, you're working all the time in the evenings, and so it means like a lot of happening, and you have a lot of jobs to do. And so this is to kind of sum it up all up, because you wait, maybe no, I don't have it anymore in this slide. What I wanted to say before all of this is that so after like learning about the product and everything, kind of distinguish that there's 2 ways, that there is this like list type of producting. So that would be mostly cases. So you have a product, let's say a t-shirt, or no, maybe more specific, something like a tool. And then it depends like who has like the highest, the cost and affordability. For example, for let's say a TV or something, you have it, you look on Amazon or someplace like that, and then it's just like list of all the TVs, and then you choose, okay, which TV fits me perfectly. But in this case, that totally did not work for us. That's not where, so we need to tell why, and that includes all of these things, how we build that, like you come and then you see this whole customer journey in a sense, and then time after time through different channels we try to get new people, and then eventually they become, they say, okay, I have been following you for a while now, I would like to have my hat. That's how it happens for us. Behind the scenes, how to make it in a sense. What we're also doing is this some kind of masterclass, also proving the craftsmanship, because if you can teach some other person how to make a hat, it means that you're like, oh, you can really know how to do it. We showed these a couple of times. So this was also very cool that, actually we made the hat with, maybe you know, from Renar Skoppers from Prata Water, Brainstorm. So he has some few hats. So what we did with this was trend catching, that Latvia was performing very well in basketball and hockey this year, and we made it with like Latvian hat, and we ended up giving to the national coach. So here with the Renars, and then some also actresses from ours, because it's so as I said, it's very personal brand, and a lot of actually a lot of communication comes directly, and I am using a lot of like just direct messaging, because to look back at it, if you want, let's say you see that you want to promote some product, you kind of put ads and everything. We actually, since like based on like resource wise, but having time and effort, you can just basically, so that's why I would say that this would not work going outside globally. But in Latvia, for example, in your home country, just writing to people actually is quite a strong tool, because I have had, I would say 10 to 15% that I have written just a person, hey, you look like you need a hat, and then the communication kind of starts, and then they say, oh, I like what you're doing, let's meet up and make it. Also question and answer live. So just saw some small ads also running just to get new people into the mix. But basically, the way how it happens, it's mostly social media, because and especially Instagram, because there we can tell the story, and the story makes the product appealing, and therefore it's happening. And now I feel that it's just a matter of time getting more and more people to know about it, and the story is kind of there to tell. People kind of like the story, and yeah, now it's so this is starting from point zero, without any knowledge of what to do and how to do it, to at least this point. Now it's yeah, next step, and obviously web page, so it's more appealing and it's faster moving, and we can move it there. So I try to be quite fast, because yeah, we don't have any questions or something, so maybe then we can move more with the questions if you like, or I can explain more about
Thank
some
you,
parts.
Karlis, for the presentation. I see that Alexandra has.
Yes, it was very interesting to learn more about the specifics of your business, Mr. Karlis, and your market research on this particular consumer market. I have a question. How easy or difficult is it to start a business in Latvia in terms of bureaucratic procedures?
More difficult in this, like, so I have that it's I have it that I'm like a single commerçant, or what's the specific term? So I say, okay, so these are my incomes, these are my expenses, basically. So I have that kind of procedure. So I have, when I buy materials, I put it into the, so these are the amounts I'm using for rent, for materials and everything, and these are the amounts that I get from invoices. And so there's the difference, and you need to basically, for me, it's kind of similar to just keeping in the, yeah. So it kind of
Very
levels
easy
out.
account.
Yeah, so I don't have, and then to jump from to have an employee, like salary wise, just think that you need a certain amount to start, that it makes sense in that point. For me, in beginning, obviously, just well, yeah, without bureaucratic wise, and
Maybe
and
I can comment a bit about this process in Latvia. It's actually, nowadays it's very easy. I found my company 2 years ago, even not leaving my house. I did everything, signing documents with e-signature. Everything was digitally. So basically you need to know just the procedure. You can start like this personal kind of accounts and the company, and then of course you can go with some investment and etc. But in general, it's very easy. We have different digital platforms also later for reports and also taxes to pay. It's kind of with some small, I don't know, information research, you can do everything very easy.
Oh, yes, yeah, maybe I didn't understand, yeah, the question, but yeah, it's very yeah, also created the like a separate bank account in bank, like basically no lines, no standing, no like double checkings, very much easy to just apply in the state, also for the what banking needs and everything. So that's actually maybe I just think that's normal and everyday, but I'm not sure in like globally, maybe it feels that it's quite easy to do it. Like it's not that a point where you think, oh, I don't want to do it because it's like it will be hassle to that. It's quite streamlined actually.
Thank you very much. We have a very low digitalization in our life in Ukraine, but to create a business is not easy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Можливо, студенти зададуть питання якесь або викладачі, а ми перекладемо англійською мовою. Є якось питання? Вибачте, я зараз українською запитаю. Do you have any questions, students or
Maybe
teachers.
while we are waiting for maybe some more questions, I'm already listening to Karlis for the second time. And I have a question about the surveys, what you did. You did them build in the Instagram, or there were some external forms you did?
We have done smaller ones, like quick ones. You do just platform-wise, like, hey, this or this. Oh, actually, I didn't put it in the presentation, but what we did actually, this is also something like low cost, basically marketing. What we did one last year, I believe, is that we did voting for the hats, like hats championship. So basically, what we started to do, we put like on random, I believe 32 hats, and who have already been there. And then we put it like Excel, and then we put like voting. So you put like this hat or this hat, and everyone just like votes this hat or this hat. And so that's round one. And then whichever hat wins, it goes to the next stage. And then it's again this hat or this hat. And then it kind of went to the
Winner.
follower champion. Yeah, which one do you like the most? And actually, looking at that, so that's content that you don't need to create. Basically, you have already created. That's engagement, because people need to actually press something. That's also showing a lot of hats. And yeah, so that wise also to use that. But for those specific ones, we did Google Forms and the link that like, hey, please, this is the link, please go. Well, obviously, it was actually quite a longer one. I would say 8 to 10 minutes. So it's we got I believe 150 something surveys. So it's not obviously for the ones where you just have to put like or this one or this one. There's much more engagement, but for a survey like that, it's you need yeah, not so many people you can get.
Okay, thank you. The thing what I wanted to kind of get out from this, that it's totally fine to do these customer surveys also on Instagram, and it's very convenient and easy, and this is where the customers actually are, which is a very powerful tool in these days, and I think it's one of the best key success points in such a topic. But maybe there is some more questions.
Maybe on this.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any seasonal trends for popularity of your product? Like maybe more people want to buy a hat in summer, or like it's an autumn thing? What's seasonal trending?
So season looks like this currently. I would say this October, November, it's a little lower, but I would say November, December is very much about gift cards, because you want to give, because it's also it's kind of, yeah, it's very nice to kind of gift, and you don't like, so you want to show appreciation to someone. This is kind of good enough appreciation. And so a lot of guys like to give it as a gift to wives and girlfriends. Also, we have people just like, oh, we can give to friends. Actually, and in the end, obviously, it's also quite nice to have some friend who you know like wears hats, and then like, oh, this person likes hats, and then like multiple friends just stack up, and we can give this friend a hat, and which would be a very meaningful and deep gift. So yeah, so November, December, more gifts. And obviously in summer it is higher season. We also have summer hats, so those hats are quite popular. And what else is very popular is wedding season, where people also for the brides, for brides sometimes, but actually a lot of hats we have made for grooms, because there's the tradition of in the middle of the night where like giving kind of hat, and now you become a man, and yeah, and then guys have this like, oh well, but I would also like to have like a cool hat, not just like some random hat. And so that's why we have made quite a lot of these hats for grooms, and sometimes also for both groom and wife, something like that. Yeah, although I would say so September till November, actually it's the perfect time to wear the hat, but unfortunately, due to the weather in Latvia, it's not usually the case. I would say, like, if you imagine the autumn in, let's say, maybe UK, France, or some similar place, it's very beautiful. It's you wear the coat and it's not cold, and you have the hat. That's perfect time to wear it. But in Latvia, it's usually more rainy and more colder. So I would say that in Latvia, actually, the hat period is more summer than autumn, from personal experience.
For example, now it's so windy, so that it's very high possibility to lose the hat because of the wind.
Yeah, exactly. And so in pictures looks better with the coat and autumn and stuff like that. It looks great, but for everyday practicality, I would say that more people would use traditional, already winter hats at this moment.
Thank you.
So yeah, before that, I wanted to say that about questionnaires, that it's very important to listen to people instead of just like, oh, I have what I think inside my head, what is cool, and now this is what we will do. We have across all the points, like asked in the beginning to friends, like, you like this or you don't like this, what is this? Then more and more people, like how we can change us to what you like. And from this, actually, I have become now a little bit more lazier, but in the beginning we did very data gathering about each hat. So a person, the size, what they're wearing, what's the, because in the beginning
Of the person.
Yes. And so well, we still have that, but I don't have it as an Excel anymore as like data building. I have it kind of in my head and subjectively. But so from that point, we made these product lines for the web page. So we see that, like, there is a lot of people who like black hat, this type of brim, this type of crown, and we see that 1 out of every 10 people are ordering this hat, because when they're coming ordering, they say what they want, and then we end up making it. And so we see, okay, so this will be a hat that people will like. And sometimes it's like, oh, I really like this hat, but actually no one's buying that type of hat. And so that's also very important to have these type of data, and because people will tell you what is needed also.
I think that's the most important thing in the business, to see your customer profiles, which is not always one profile. These portraits of typical customers can be even 10 and more. So in such a way, portraiting or collecting data, you can predict your future sales or marketing campaigns and such things. This is very wise. I see that Alexandra has also turned on the microphone. Is there any question from you?
Oh, yes. I want to ask about your Instagram. You showed like before and after. And before, for my opinion, was more beautiful and professional. And as I know, in Ukraine, it's work more better when it's beauty. And in your case, second variant work better. Could you explain why? And yeah.
Well, subjectively, because there's kind of unified branding underneath it. Like we made that. Well, actually, it's what we're going for is that we're creating that a story that is about mountains, and also the headlines are called by mountain ranges. So that's kind of why it was. That's why the unified visuals. But also the one before, it was not bad, because at that moment also a lot of people give a lot of comments that, oh, it looks very beautiful, and so that's good opinion on other sides, because that's kind of experimenting and trying, because it's also kind of long term to do it that you switch how it looks, and then you see the results. It's because you cannot just change 3 images and then, okay, so now it's changed, and let's see what happens. It's kind of long term. That's actually my personal preference, I would say. That's how I see that. That looks good about the new branding. But that's a good point to also see. Most likely, yeah, there's different opinions.
Right. It's all about experiments. Thank you.
Sorry. So I understand that it's not a very innovative industry, but I'm curious, are you suggesting new designs and ideas to your clients, or are you more led by your customers when they come to you and we want like a brown hat, and then you make a brown hat instead of like presenting a new product and seeing do people want it? So is it more customer led, or are you trying to innovate?
It's a mix. So obviously it's so it goes customers wishes, what they would like, and then there's other parties where I just make what I think would be cool, and then I make it so, and then it's we do it that like, okay, so this hat is made already, and it's more usually for like some images or just to show as demo because it's easier to show, not to tell, right? So we need some alternative ones that, and then it kind of mixes up together. So yeah, so you come and you say, I want a brown hat. I say, okay, well, obviously this is the brown hat that we have. I have made this brown hat, this brown hat, this brown hat. And on this brown hat, this thing really worked together. How would you like this into your hat? So that's kind of the decision there. And well, yeah, obviously if you say, no, I want to have yeah, and the so other times like cooperation between client, and that I also in the beginning, like we say that, okay, so this is the main framework, how we talk about what you like. That's, I respect that. But then during the hat making process, there's sometimes when you feel like this hat really like needs this element or this element. And also if it's a very good cooperation and communication, it usually happens the best way, to like, hey, I felt that you really need, well, you said this overall thing, but it really looks good, like this part looks good on this hat, and usually it really does, because I have more like case studies with hats than the person who is doing the first hat. And that's why, that's also if you have like trust in as a customer.
Oh, and are there any copyright problems, like other patented designs? Do people come and ask, can you make me a hat like Gucci but for like a third of a price? And like, how is it legally regulated?
I haven't had any like issues, but obviously, so there is limited ways how you can do it. Like there's limited variables. So like a black hat is, it's black hat, and you have the design, and eventually it will kind of become you will hit that it's similar to some other ones. But I haven't had the people are kind of like blaming each other. Hey, you're stealing my this or that, and but well, not stealing, but I don't call it stealing. I call it learning. I have, because that's how I have been making it all, by looking at what others are doing, and also, okay, so this looks like a cool technique, cool elements, so cool something, and I take that, adjust it to my side. Like for example, there's the burning of the hat. There's like with fire, like writing some kind of inside hat. I wouldn't say that there's like option to patent that, but I obviously saw from other ones who are doing that, and I say, okay, this looks very cool. I want to also do that. So something like that. A patent that I haven't heard, I have seen somewhere that people maybe have complained.
I can maybe comment about patents and licenses. You cannot patent the hat as itself. It's something what everyone has already, and this is nothing innovative. You can patent the design or technology. You can patent, for example, the brand name or the logo, not to be stolen, but as a hat making technology, if you create something totally new, which is, I don't know, not burning, but maybe freezing it, or I'm just like kidding, yeah, like doing some new technology and creating maybe some new tools for that, then you can patent that. But in your case, I'm not seeing any chances something to patent.
I mean, I think most biggest risk is if you like try to actually cover under like a different name, kind of like sell it as like, oh, this is the name. Then it's, but any other way, it's well, it's similar but different. And to patent actually, so I'm not sure that so the tools of making it have historically been mostly made with wood. And so there's craftsmanship under there. And now in recent years, there's a lot of people who have come up with 3D printing. So basically there's the base of the hat, how you make it, and other tools. Well, it's actually quite easy to make it with 3D printing. And there was one guy who was like first one who did it. And then others also started doing that. And I believe he did some like comments online that like, hey, this person is also like kind of stealing what I'm doing. But in the end, like, well, it's 3D printing, and also the form has been around for quite a while, and it's not really like honest to say that like no one else, like everyone else now who is 3D printing the tools is like stealing from the original idea. Well, maybe he can prove, but as far as I know, that's not the case now, because we also have some 3D printed tools, and well, you make the design anyway from the brand new, from the scratch. But yeah, something like I haven't like there's probably is a way how to do some part of that, but I haven't seen.
Okay. Please, we have a question. My colleague Svetlana Bebko, please.
Would you tell us, please, what social media is the most efficient in Latvia from the point of view of sales or advertising or something like that for your business?
Well, we're doing mostly Instagram because it's the visual one and it's a visual product. But I would say now TikTok obviously is even faster moving, and you make the videos, and there we just started with one, and it's also resource limiting, and okay, so we're kind of stronger in there. Just doing a little bit on TikTok, putting the videos there, obviously, but actually I haven't had anyone from TikTok coming over and say and making the purchase. So although you can put a video, maybe people see it, maybe it's happening, but actually it doesn't really matter if you see it and nothing's happening out of that. But on Instagram, it's kind of this weird way that it's like you have the communication there easier one. Also a little bit on Facebook, but on Facebook it's more about the older generation, a little bit more than Instagram. So the main one, I would say 80% is Instagram, which is for us in Latvia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I see that we are already here for almost an hour, and I know that Karlis has many other things to do. So I really want to say thank you for being here, participating and sharing your experience, and also answering to our questions. And also I want to thank project partners and participants which today participated in the lecture. I hope that you all enjoyed and got a little bit taste of what we are doing here in Latvia. I hope to see you all in next Business Wednesdays. Have a nice the rest of the day and the week, and see you in another time. Thank you.
And we would like to thank you from